Hi everyone. In my opinion, this phase is the most critical one, not just for this bull run, but 12 years of trend. And I'll come to that point little later. I have kept the chart ready and I'll spend some time explaining that my interpretation. So, this particular phase, and when I talk about 12 years, I'm talking about next one quarter, not necessarily um, today or next 1 week, but maybe few days up to few weeks. I'll come to that point little later. So let's start with lower time frame, 12 hours, to see what is happening on Bitcoin. Then we go a higher time frame and then go through all the alts. And later, before we end, I'll go through all the coins that are rising, but that won't be recorded because those could be short term. We'll record the active coin list part. Right, so 12 hours. Just a quick recap. This is December 3rd drop, then a bounce, which is usual bounce. It always happens. We were online on call, like Zoom call, when this was happening, and this was a good bounce. We called out that okay, this is a good one because the height was good and all, and then we said it is going to retest sometime, and retest level could be all the way to the down or somewhere before it. During this phase, that was the retest part. Okay, but the retest is not just usually one test like an exam. It can be multiple. This is not a final exam. There's no definite number that it retest only once or twice. So that's the tricky part, but we'll look into that as well. So this is definitely a retest, and then this particular move is a retest of this, not all the way, and then when it comes down again, it's a retest of this particular low. When it comes down again, then it's again a retest of this. So this purple line that you see has significance, okay, which is around 45,500 level. So this purple line has significance because this bounce, all these bounces that we saw were from this level. So that's why it's important. Okay, so we are going to extend that because that's when you track this, there could be many supports, very close by supports, and sometimes it's tricky because there are so many ways you can look into the same thing, and that's why I would highlight those support but not necessarily tag them, because as I said, from this particular candle lows point of view, this is your support, right? Now, while this was consolidating, it created lower highs, and that gave us this yellow line, right? So this is so easy to draw and understand, and this is also so easy to understand. If I go back in past, maybe I should do this so you will be able to focus on this area. This was this was important level, right? This was important level, and so we draw this purple line and then draw a yellow line. That gives us a boundary that if the purple line is broken, then the retest could go deeper and go and retest this 42k again, right? So that's the significance of this purple line. The yellow line, what is the significance is if it breaks above, that means we are getting out of this particular consolidation, right? And it happened. with this bounce and this bounce. So this happened. If I fast forward, when it breaks out, there is a throw. It is always a retest of this breakout, usually, not always, but usually, right? And that's what happened, and then followed by amazing move, nice bounce, right? And then consolidation and little bit of retracement, and then a bounce. As you could see, this one, it hit the level which we are expecting to hit, and this is the gate. As I mentioned, 40 earlier, I had 42,000, which I raised by $400 just to be, because there was little change. So I added this sign band, indicating that this is the most significant resistance out of the risk, because if it breaks above, then that means we are clear, right? 58k is more conservative level. I don't want to ignore this, but to me the most important level is this one, and still, and it got rejected. Now this rejection was bad simply because this rejection broke this low. Not just that, it broke this low as well. However, if you continue and track this yellow line is still relevant, and it provided the bounce. So if you look at carefully, after breakout, it provided the bounce here, it provided the bounce here, and it has provided the bounce again. So this yellow line is actually keeping a kind of a separator. If you look at it, the whole consolidation happened below this line, and then this consolidation is happening above, because this is also consolidation, right? This is also consolidation, this is also consolidation. So this is happening above the yellow. What it means that we don't want price to break below this yellow. I shared this chart with Vinny yesterday when I was chatting with him. He also was tracking for this level, and I said I'm also tracking this level because of this yellow line. Anyway, so this is 12 hours, right? And it is important that it bounced from this level, and it did. So this is good news, very good news. Now what we need to see is how high this goes. What we don't want to see, so what we want to see is very clear. We want to see price to be above S4, right? That will be the first achievement, and it must stay. If you look at this one in a true, all these attempts, though it went up to this one, if you look at 1 day time frame, let me switch to 1 day time frame. Technically speaking, S4 was not broken above. Look at this. Here 4 attempts, 5th, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 attempts on a 1 day scale, 1 day time frame, failed one. These are spikes, these are penetrations, but not really closing above. So we can say that S4 has rejected all this. I mean, if you take the high, then you can say this level, but if you look at, actually the S4 is rejecting because it was not able to close above S4. The S4, but without going into micro level, what I mean is this level is so important that it must close above this level, right? And it has to break above this one too. So you may consider that this zone, if I may extend, just to cover S4 and this 50 to 500, we can simply say that we want price to stay above this zone for it to continue on the upside. That's the crux, right? What we now will talk about what we don't want to see. See, what we want to see is clear, and why we want to see that level is also clear, because 10-11 times it rejected. So that part is clear, technically speaking. This visibility is not one day. On one day you will see only 2 touches, otherwise there are 4 touches, right? So this is so important, so significant. And this purple, of course. But if this is broken, then what we don't want to see is, first thing is this yellow line. We don't want this to be broken below. So you can add this yellow line to your local. Now some of the users or TA might be tracking this one, but I would track the yellow. To me, if this is broken, next time I don't think this will be able to hold. Unlikely. But anyway, this is not so far, so I don't want to go at a micro level. Point is, this is around 45,500 or 400 kind of a range. So that has to be maintained. This is our first defense. S5 is also very significant. This is 44k defense. Now this is from a different pattern point of view, which we'll look into. This is second defense. These supports are important, and these supports are coming from different methodology. There are different methods, and I explain this level based on what happened. So that's chapter 1. Chapter 2 is 44k. How 44k, why 44k is significant? Okay, I'll talk about that. So of course this S5 is based on my proprietary method, you may say, so that you have to just take it that I came up with this using my formula. Okay, so there is no explanation to that, but I'll open a different chart, which is this one, and actually I have Coinbase also. Yeah, there are different, so this is also important. Related to previous chapter, this is also another pattern. You see, this is important, and this is beautiful. And those who remember my post in academia, remember we were tracking this one. This is good case study for you. You look at the symmetry. This is like Mayan pyramid, step pyramid. The structure is like a step pyramid. Look, and I don't think I have to explain this. You get it, because this is visually so much, I mean, this is so simple and intuitive that this requires no explanation. So I'm not going to talk anything about this. I'll just give 10-15 seconds on this one for you to note the dots, note the points, note the lines, see how it looks like, and it will speak to you. I believe in this. If the chart doesn't tell you by looking at it, the chart has no meaning. Usually that's what I believe. Explanation is required for different reasons, but key levels need to be known just by looking at chart without an explanation. So when you look at this, I don't think you get any kind of a doubt or confusion. It's like crystal clear that why it rejected. So if I remove this one, there was a rejection here, and there was a rejection here. You see, because it is following the slope, and here the support, because this is following this slope, and all these are parallel lines. Very simple method, and it started from here. This is bit of TA stuff which will be useful, I'm sure. Value added information beyond analysis, and these are simple methods but so effective. Anyway, let's move on. This is Bitstamp, and this requires weekly time frame. Okay, so chapter 1 we saw why that particular level was important, 45,500 level. Now this is chapter 2, why 44k is important. So the 44k on a weekly, today is Wednesday, and if you extend this, if it lands here, 43k 44k level is another range which is significant, because then it's my red line. What is this red line? This red line is very important to me because it's extending. There is little secret recipe in this one which I cannot reveal, but a little bit I can reveal, but that's not the main reason. It is extending this one, okay, this particular cluster. One way to look into that, but there's much more, but right now you just focus in this one, that this line is important, the red line is important, and that the intersection of this red line is at 43,500. So that's second most important level in my opinion. Now it could touch this level and then bounce and then continue moving within this channel and touch this whatever level, depends how high, I mean what angle it takes, which is impossible to know. Whatever angle it takes, you're going to, I'm expecting that it would touch, I mean depends where it touch, we'll get this. So if it, let's say take this angle, let's say it goes from here and it takes this angle, we'll see 100k by April, something like this. If it goes mad, then it could be earlier, but then in that case it would be 90k. But this line I'm going to keep it for our reference. Okay, so it depends how the angle of this particular bounce, and probably this angle might make this angle makes sense. And if 100k by in April next year, right? This one, but it's impossible to know what angle it is going to take, impossible to know, of course, with the assumption that it bounces with at this level. Okay, that's a big assumption, and then if the depends on the angle, we'll have this level. So for 100k, if I match 100k, which is psychological level, then it gives us April timeline. So this is very like approximate method how you can project the timeline, but the underlying assumption is the angle of the wave. If you're wrong in angle of the wave, you of course you're going to be simple science, I mean simple logic as well, but because it's the angle is going to determine the timeline. When people give specific target with specific date, there is assumption, and that assumption is based on some patterns for sure, right? And you can say I will take this angle and then continue with this angle on a mean, then it gives a similar level, April month, this particular angle, and then this is consolidation and then continuation like this. But if there is consolidation phase in between, then of course it's going to derail, right? So derailing, I mean the delaying of any target doesn't mean that the trend is broken. The macro trend is not broken. macro targets are not invalidated, only that it failed to achieve because of prolonged consolidation. So that's important point to be noted. 100k or any other macro targets are not invalidated at all. They are still valid, only that they are delayed simply because of this prolonged consolidation, which is impossible to know for anyone to how long it is going to take. We were expecting this to be over somewhere here, but it didn't. It extended by this many weeks, then it went up and then come down, and so all this is waste of time. This is delaying because it has to take few more weeks to climb up and get the same. So this is everything is delayed. But then you think that okay, it's delaying, but more it delays, and if it ends up with a upward breakout, let me tell you that delay is worth, simply because more it takes time, longer the consolidation, higher it could go. It's very simple. Like if you think about constructing a building, if your base is broad, wide enough, then you can build a taller building. Other, if the base is very very short or small, right, then the height is limited. Similarly, the wave is like that. If the longer the consolidation, the longer the next leg. Now the important thing is it depends on what side it breaks out. Okay, that is important. So longer the consolidation is good if the breakout happens on the upside. That means 100k is not. So if from a bullish point of view, trend point of view, if the breakout happens on the upside, 100k is not the final number. To me, 250 is also possibly lower number, but I'll say 250, 200 to 300 is a reasonable number, but it could go beyond that because of this platform, because of this consolidation. It could give immense push. No, the 100k is a small number if it goes up. That's a simple that's a simple conclusion. People talk about 100k, it's just next logical mindset, a milestone. It's more rounded number. In fact, it is not likely to 100k. I'll calculate it. It's unlikely. It's more psychological level. 50k, 100k, these are psychological numbers because human mind likes the rounded numbers, right? Ending with zeros, fives. They don't like decimals, and they don't like odd numbers. The mind doesn't like that. So if I say 99, so you will scratch your head, why not 100k? There is not much of a difference between 99k or 100. You will not even say 101k, you will say 100k. So that's psychological thing. But anyway, that's not the main point here. 100k is not the final destiny if it goes up. So that's a good news if it breaks above. So we need to see where from this. That's why this level is so important, that from here on where it goes matters a lot. Now we have been tracking this chart for very long, and this is so simple chart, and this is like a pendulum. As I mentioned earlier, this is the entry point, this is the upper bound, this is the lower bound. Rejection from the upper bound, come to the mid level. This is the mid level, right? The orange box ends at mid level, 40k level. So that's third most important level. So the first most important level we already talked from the yellow line. Second most important level is my 43k, 44k level range because of this red line. I think there is one more flavor which I don't recall, but that is also giving me 34. That's S5. My bad, S5. So two reasons. So S5 on the Binance chart is also giving that 44k range, and so this channel is important. As I say, if it continue bouncing from here, uh, to me the probability of touching this is still high. Be- and then it could go up, but this is going to be more, this is going to be very decisive level, the 43-44k level. Okay, now, but anyway, that's not a big problem whether it goes from up from here or here. This is not a big deal. There's no need to go at a micro level when we track at a weekly, right? Point is this, it has to bounce from here or here, whatever, it must not break below. That's the bottom line. Okay, so I hope this is clear. And if I move forward, why this level is important, the two things. One is, there are two reasons. One is this orange box, which is like a symmetry. If you look at, this is a symmetry, this is a left hand side, this is like a head kind of a structure, and this is the right hand side, right? I would not say head and shoulder and all. Sometimes patterns are debatable, so I'll not use head and shoulder, though it's similar to head and shoulder. I would just use symmetry, that endpoints are important here. So this is the endpoint, right? So the orange box covers the endpoints here, right? So I may extend a little bit here to be more accurate. Correct. So this is the endpoint, upper, lower. It didn't go all the way, which is fine, it's not a requirement, but it could have gone up to this level, which is around 53k 500. But sometimes the pattern can be at angle, not necessarily horizontal, so that's why it is. So in that case, this could be little lower. These are technical points I'm just sharing with you. If the pattern, what is happening to my TV? This is recorded. Usually I don't record this stuff. Anyways, so that's why this level is important, which is 39k to 40k level from this particular orange box point. So that's the third significant band, right, after 43-44k band. And that's the explanation why, because if this is the matching of this particular lower bound, and if this is broken below, that means it could follow this one, because it could create a mirror image of this thing. Like this. Direction is important, shape is and approximate because of this. So this is left hand side and this is right hand side. Okay, I'll show you something similar. It happened here. Pay attention here. This is the centerpiece. This is left hand side. You will be able to see you are more on 3-day time, not on a weekly. You will be able to see this here. So you see the centerpiece, which has a two part, but you put this into one. Let me highlight with a box so you will have a clear dissection. You consider this box as single unit, and then you will see there are two arms. I'll not say shoulders. Anyway, so left hand and right hand, and then this particular move is nothing but a mirror image of this one. Clear? Very simple. And this upper bound can be matched with this upper bound. This lower bound can be matched with this lower bound, and you project this, then this gives you breakout level of the downside. So this level is equivalent to 39k and 49. This level is this, right? This particular level is equivalent to this level. So in that case, this particular move was nothing but mirror image of this, and then this move was nothing but a mirror image of this, and I call this as a bridging of these two patterns. So these two patterns are actually similar. They are distorted little bit, but they are not identical, of course. But you will, I think, you got the gist of it, right? I believe that's important. If you get the gist of it, that's my mission is complete, explaining this particular setup. Okay, so let's go back to our weekly. I wanted to explain what is mirror image. So this mirror image would be of this one, and in that case, if that happens, then the bull run ends. As simple as that. Because of course we'll have to see that happening, but this level is so important for two reasons, as I said. One is it will break this particular lower bound, and also you have to consider this as a midline, approximate midline actually, which is this one, kind of not exactly on the center, but these two, maybe I should put a dotted line here, dashed line, dashed line, what's the dashed line, they have changed that. This is like too close. They used to have better dashed line. They changed something. I didn't like it. This is more like dotted line. This is not dashed line. They changed something. I don't see. TradingView has goofed up something. Because this is dotted line, they say, but it's almost so close. It looks like a flag. They changed something for sure. They screwed up. Anyway, this is dashed line proper, but they screwed up horizontal line. Some coder messed up. Anyway, now this is why this dashed line is the center of this orange lines. The orange line is the upper bound, significant one, and the lower bound. So this particular dotted line, dashed line, is a center. So if you look at this level, I may draw with a red background. This level is super important. There's nothing important at this level, in my opinion. I may extend it. This is super important level, which is 3940K level, right? So this is the third most important defense line. And if this is broken, there are levels and all, but to me, this is a big red flag if this is gone. Okay, 39K. In short, below this one, which is 39,500. So 39K. Keep 39K to cover any kind of a whipsaw effect. So 39K is super important. There is another support. You never know. It could bounce from here as well. But 39K is super important. So, and the bullish scenario I mentioned here, I should represent with a green line, which goes to 100K from here. It could be here, so I'll say middle, somewhere middle. Right? This is too thick. If I increase the thickness, then it will show dashed line, which is not. Okay, I got the effect. So hope this is clear with everyone. See, altcoins are important, but I'm spending a lot of time on this for a reason, because this is not about, this is about a trend. This is about, this is a pivotal moment where it is about six digit number, or you know, sub 30k level significantly. That's why this requires understanding. And I'm coming on to alts. Those are not going anywhere. Don't worry about those coins. If Bitcoin is able to break above 52k, 53k level that we are expecting, there will be plenty of opportunities. Even if you don't trade for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, you're not missing out anything, let me tell you. So just we need to chill out here and see what Bitcoin is doing. If there is a coin pumping 20%, 30%, who cares? There'll be tons of coins I'll throw at you, opportunity wise, right? With significant, potential. Don't worry about 1 day movement. Okay, those who are going after 1 day pumps, if they achieve, I'll be happy for them. But if they are, I am assuming they're not forgetting the big picture, and my focus is big picture. The whole reason for spending time, and I'm very committed. So we are not wrong to understand the big picture, because if we make mistake in understanding this, then the loss is significant. Lost is significant. And it's not about lost, it's about uh, I know, it's about knowing what is happening, and planning based on the situation, so there is no surprises. Of course, it's about profit and loss, but it is to avoid any surprises to start with. No point in time we should we should feel, oh, why it happened, oh, I was thinking that, but it didn't happen, why? So I don't think anyone will surprise on opportunity channel. So I can guarantee that. Yeah, I use the word guarantee. So there is no surprises. Why? Because my method is not, I don't take side. My side is based on condition. So that's why you will never have any surprises. So this level is broken above, we are going to see higher level. If 39k is broken below, then we are likely to see, we are likely to see lower level. Okay, so that part is clear, I hope. And there's one more thing I mentioned about macro trend, mega trend, which is at the monthly scale, which I would like to bring up, um, as we are talking this. And this, as I said, next few days are so significant at a far trend level. Whole entire December month was important, but especially now, from today onwards, it's going to be very, very critical. So I will switch to one chart, which is which I prepared just before the call. Where is it? Yeah, which has to be seen on a monthly or 3 months. No, monthly. Okay. I chose inverted chart for a reason. Inverted chart for a reason. In my opinion, Bitcoin never had bad trend. People talk about bad trend, and I would say it's subjective. In my book, Bitcoin never had bad trend. To me, it is in both. It is having bull run since it started, since the inception, 12 years. I'm considering those corrections were like for a few months, of course, some few months, but they were not. This is a bull run for 12 years, and in between there were some corrections. I'm talking about super macro level or macro level, right? A monthly, a 3 month time scale level. And of course, it's not that I'm trying to say there was no downside move, but look at the chart here. This is inverted chart, of course. uh, for a reason I brought up this one, so let me highlight a few things. To me, there were four inflection points: this one, this one, this one, and this one. 4 out of 3, it was able to win, and this is the last one. And if, I mean fourth one, not last one. I mean last means latest, I meant. This is the latest one, I should say. If this is broken below, then as I explained earlier, it could go significantly higher number than what level? I mean 6 digit number, some 6 digit number. And few things I'm observing. I think yeah, I should. I was just thinking, should I record it or not? Because anyways, I'll share with you. The way I'm seeing is very differently. Pay attention here. I'm measuring the wave not in terms of specific height, but in relative terms. Note this. I'll change this color to some different color. Note this legs. Okay. So these were decisive levels, because if this was, because this bull run was thanks to this level. This bull run, because this is inverted chart, this bull run was thanks to this level, and this particular bull run was thanks to this level. And what you see here is the height of this wave has been shrinking. See, the height of each of this wave reduced over time. Also, I had added another drawing on the main chart, not the inverted chart, that this arch was building up. To me, whatever we discussed so far before this was about the bull run, if I may say, phase, because this particular, I consider 12 years of bull run, and then there were 4 phases, and this is the fourth one. And whatever I talked about is about that. Now I'm talking about 12 years, and so this require further zoom out. This is like you're looking at the Earth from the outer space. Earlier, you were in the plane, you were looking at your country or region, right? That kind of a view. This is like you are in outer space and looking at the Earth. You're looking at the shape of the Earth itself. Now, because it covers whole entire 12 years of data. And this is my interpretation, these key points and height of this move, and then this arch. This arch is actually because of this height, which is reducing, but it gives kind of a boundary that way. Now, that means this is your critical level, or this is the critical level. To me, if it breaks below, then it's going to go for 100k, 200k, 500k, that kind of a level. But if it start going up on this inverted one and breaks this critical line in the regular chart, this is 29k, then it's a big trouble at a 12 years level. This is far. So I just wanted to share what I'm tracking, because this is year end, right? So we always have weekly trend analysis on every Saturday, and then monthly analysis on month end. This is year end. So I must talk about this. Okay, so this 29k on the regular chart, on inverted chart, this level is super significant for 12 years trend. And if this is broken, then it would land on this line somewhere, which is very easy on the regular chart for us to figure out where. We'll see that. Okay, this is where it will land. I'm talking about 12 years chart. I'm not talking about anything weekly or monthly. This is or this particular phase. I'm talking about this has an entire one uptrend, and then big correction of 12 years chart. Okay, I'm talking about that. So we talked about 39k is the most important level for this particular phase 4, because if that is broken below, then it goes for probably 19k, 20k level. Okay, and if that happens, that will trigger something which we don't want to see. And I don't want to talk more about it, but I would like to just highlight that it could really go down and touch this level. So I'm recording this session, I know, and I'm recording for a reason. So in future we'll say what we talked about. We are going to track this, so this is not set in stone, but I just want to highlight these facts and observations, not facts but observations, that what is happening, because we talked about weekly, daily, monthly, and we talked about the trend which started from 2019-20, but we don't talk about this particular chart so often unless there is requirement. We did in past when it was here. Those who were there on, we talked about this, and it broke below, like this moment. It broke below, and then we got bull run. Here we come again, right? Because this was significant level, third significant level. Now we are at the fourth significant level and nearby that level. Now we have to see if it breaks below in us on this inverted or above. So that is going to decide whether we are going to go for 250k or 500k or much lower number in terms of dollar value. So I just wanted to, this is year end and also a key level. I wanted to share this chart with all of you, and I wanted to share what I was thinking, what I observed here, and reasoning, technical reasoning. Also, if you note, the angle of this white line is flattening. Did you know that? This is steepest, this is flattening, and this is the horizontal. So what if this is really a bottom formation, which may not happen here, which may happen somewhere here? There might be another leg. So that's something we'll have to see. But one thing, if not this time, But whenever it comes to this level, let's say, which is around 250k, will maybe 500k, whatever, after that, this 12 years chart is likely to go through huge correction, and that will be the first correction. So that is either big, it has already begun with this one, or it will begin down the line in year 2022, in my opinion. So whatever level, as I said, higher level, 200k, 500k level, whatever, because at this level we are talking about range, not exact dollar number. So if not now, somewhere down the line. So in 2022, in general anyway, is going to be the milestone, I mean the most critical year for Bitcoin price action point of view. See, there is going to be development, there is going to be progress. In year 2019, 2018, price went down, but there was always progress, so there is no doubt about the progress. We are talking about the cycle price action, which is nothing to do with progress, because the progress has been happening and it happened in 2018, but it price went down. So there are two different things. So the year 2020 can be a huge um, gift. I mean, comes up with a huge gift, big, you know, bonanza. And the same time, before the year ends, there is likely to be huge correction, and we'll be ready. In fact, we are already ready, and because we are tracking it, so we are ready. So I don't think on Opportunity Channel will have any kind of surprises as far as major trend is concerned. Okay, that's I'm committed for that, and we'll see. So far so good. Since we started Opportunity Channel last 2 years, there's no big surprises as far as major direction is concerned, no matter what. So I'll try to maintain that track record for sure, and you all will be up to date. Now this session ends here. I mean, part of it, the Bitcoin, where I started with 12 hours, then one day highlighted three different levels, right? 43k to, I mean, you have the recording, so I won't repeat it because again, we have to move on to the next segment of us, because you're probably equally interested in that. But this is so important, and I didn't want to have, I mean, wrap up in very short time. I want to really go in detail, in depth, and share everything which I was thinking through. So now you know everything which I was thinking and analyzed. Right. With that note, I end the recording here and open for your question.